Welcome to YouTube's favorite Korean news show of the week, KPC News, where we cover weekly updates on K-entertainment, culture, and society. I'm your host, David Kim. Today, we've got another stacked lineup for you. Just to show you what we're going to be covering in this session of KPC News. This is the table of contents from BTS Arirang World Tour, Economic Boom, to KFA International, Referee Sex Scandals, to Seoul Shirtless, Joggers, and Panty Rider. Seoul National University students Kunwro heat wave app. I hope all of you are safe there, out there, staying warm, staying not warm but cool. Also, we have Trader Joe's seasoning and moonshine bust happening in Korea. Plus, in society, Korea's older bride and younger groom trend. On top of that, South Korea's shift to daughter preference is happening. So we have a lot of very interesting news happening today. Just to greet some of you guys. Hello, Indiana Cutie. Hello, Karen Tix. And good afternoon from San Diego. Hoodie Gang Gang. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of KPC News. And yeah, if you're watching the replay, be sure to check out the table of contents over here, and you'll be able to skip directly to the chapter or the timestamp. Yeah, using it in the description box or the pinned comment function. So check it out over there and just go to your subject of interest. Yes, and I just want to let you guys know that after these live streams, we always have an after show on Patreon. It's free if you come for it real time. So yeah, we can watch all these fun content together. The BTS World Tour Arirang in North America Part 1 sketch. It's a very long video, so I'm going to be skimming through the highlights. Number 2, Martin and James of Cortez. To be cringe is to be free on Hey Tableau, episode 32. This as well at 1.5x speed. I'll be skimming through the highlights. I've already prepared all the timestamps. And then it's Blackpink's 10th anniversary, and they had a pop live. Not a pop live, but a Weverse live. So we'll be watching that with full English subs as well too. So if you want to join me, come on over to Patreon. It's in the pinned comment in the description box or the chat box here. So yes, please join me. And just reading some comments over here. Interested, oops, what's going on? Interested in Trader Joe's seasoning. I work at Trader Joe's in San Diego. And yeah, you're my running companion today. Glad to be that. Yes, I hope it's not too hot over there. So yeah, let's go on with today's news. Yes, my dog just wanted to go out like crazy, so I just had to open the door for her. She acts like that. Yes. But let's go on to today's first news. Oh, wow, Gloria, thank you for the 100 jewels. Thank you so much for that. A great start, guys. Yes, girl preference, that's new. Yes, you will be surprised. So, moving on to the first news. Let's go. Okay, so first of all, we always have to start with our favorite, BTS, right? So what's happening to BTS? Well, you can see in the title, I've named it BTS-Nomics. I didn't name it that, actually. All these global media outlets and the Korean outlets are calling the economic effect BTS-Nomics, and there's a good reason to it. And I'll try to explain it as much as possible. So the K-pop legends BTS are currently on their massive Arirang World Tour, as everyone knows, and the financial ripple effect they are leaving across, especially the United States, is nothing short of historic. Well, there's a lot of numbers that back this statement. And according to a dedicated report by this major British newspaper called The Guardian, you might have seen it before. Yeah, it's a pretty well-known paper and a paper of authority, I would say, right? Wrote, yeah, BTS are back. Return of K-pop stars sparks U.S. Economic boom. I really recommend the actual original article, so go check it out. But just to summarize it for you guys, BTS's return to live concerts after their 4-year hiatus is driving a multi-hundred-million-dollar economic boom that tops uh, even the 2026 FIFA World Cup. That's crazy. So I've been seeing a lot of economic reports analyzing the economic state of the US right now and how much the GDP is and the growth rate and the inflations and blah 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 blah. And a lot of people say that the recent 2026 FIFA World Cup generated a lot of money into the US and made it flow, and it actually kind of delayed inflation and rates or whatever. So you can go check that out on like The Economist or Forbes or whichever economic magazine you want. But the important thing here is that financial analysts are pointing out that the economic effect BTS is bringing is matching that of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. That is absolutely insane. The FIFA World Cup is a worldwide event where most of the people around the globe flock to the actual hosting country to see their own country compete. And yeah, hotels, accommodations, food, restaurants, uh, local businesses all boom due to these kind of mass events, right? So yeah, the fact that BTS is on par with that is absolutely crazy. Daja House says, last weekend MetLife was fully borahe. I was down the highway, able to hear the concert, slightly amidst a local patient talking about the corner ghost in the room. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, hardworking over there. Wherever BTS goes, money gets spent, indeed. So yeah, looking further into this to put numbers behind this phenomenon, back in May, just 4 sold-out shows in Las Vegas generated a staggering $340 million in economic activity. $340 million, lifting everyone from mega resorts on the strip to tiny local cafes in Chinatown. And yeah, you can see the financial and visitor impact over here in the chart. Not only Las Vegas, but we're talking about all these other places like New Jersey, and there's upcoming cities in the US as well too, right? And if you go on, you fast forward to August, and they've already begun their second leg of the U.S. World Tour. And on August 1st and 2nd, the MetLife Stadium, there were over 157,000 fans gathered, flooding Manhattan's Koreatown and turning the entire New York metropolitan area into a giant K-culture hub. There were pop-up stores, there were a lot of collaborations. I'm about to show you some pictures over here. So I don't know what this is, but apparently this is like a very big monument or something. So BTS during the world tour, they always had the city project going on in collaboration with the local tourist board and the city. And this is apparently the top of the rock. It was wrapped with the Arirang branding. Not only these kind of statues and monuments, but they did a lot of collaborations with monumental places like the Grand Central Terminal, and they had like DIY light stick crafting hubs. I love the color match over there with the U.S. flag with BTS, the city Arirang, New York. And then they also had local museums introducing BTS themed digital art exhibits as well. Very interesting. I love that they're just trying to integrate with artists and other forms of art, and of course tourism. Yeah, Michael Mariano, who is the head of economic development at Tourism Economics, pointed out to The Guardian that when you factor in hotel bookings, dining, local retail, and airfare, average visitor spending by BTS fans matches or even exceeds that of global sports fans attending the FIFA World Cup final. Yes. So on top of that, Hive recorded a record-breaking second quarter revenue of 1.45 trillion won, making them the first entertainment company in Korean history to surpass the 1 trillion mark in a single quarter. That is absolutely mind-blowing, but why are my Hive stocks in the basement right now? I'm really, really curious. Moving on, my personal view about this is it's not honestly that surprising because we've all known about BTS's effect. We've all known about that phrase BTS-Nomics. It's been thrown out here and there. But yeah, it's just seeing it again and again by like these top international outlets like The Guardian and Economist, like actual financial analysts jumping on to BTS and naming it BTS-Nomics and pointing out that it matches the revenue for like the FIFA World Cup happening in the impact of it. Yeah, it's just like very proud to see that kind of stuff. And given the fact that these guys were absent for nearly like 4 years, they had a little bit of a mandatory military duty to fulfill. Very proud of that as well too. But even after that, nevertheless, they didn't lose any of their substance and essence. And yeah, critics, industry doubters kept asking if the momentum will hold, and they just proved everyone wrong, and they just proved all the doubters wrong, right? So yeah, not only did it hold, it just shattered all these expectations. And yeah, we're setting records between stadiums here and there. And Xenia, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much. 감사합니다. And I love BTS just shattering all these records. Yeah, and what really blows my mind is like, it isn't just like the stadium ticket sales, but it's like the genius execution behind the Hive's what do you call it? The city project. And they aren't just pulling a concert performance. They're literally transforming a lot of cities around the world, major cities like New York, like London, like Seoul, Las Vegas, into BTS themed places. It's very interactive. I've participated in those spaces when I was in Busan. It's like a month-long K-culture theme park. You can visit all these restaurants with BTS themed things, and as you can see over here, they have like BTS themed croissants and menus. Like what is that? Like cocktail. We have 붕어빵, 떡볶이, kimbap, all that kind of stuff. When I was in Busan, I could see like Busan specialty menus. We had pop-up stores, collaborations with like Gemini, all these big brands, armies lined up everywhere. So yeah, that was absolutely amazing. Gloria Smith, thank you so much for the fighting YouTube gift. And yeah, so it's just absolutely amazing that the mainstream media and Wall Street or economists are actually jumping into and analyzing the economic impact BTS has. And it should be, it has to be more widespread, these facts, in order for BTS to get more praise and them to have more and more, I guess, cultural, diplomatic, economic impact. Like we've already seen mayors, governors, like presidents greet them in a national level, inviting them to the presidential office, but all because they know that BTS brings in the money and the people, right? So if you actually try to calculate the economic impact they've had all over the world, I think it would be astronomical. We were just talking about like New York over there, right? And the US over there. So yeah. And speaking of, Adi brand is flying off the shelves as well. So Adi is this new brand. They collaborated with Hanguk Yakult and Hybe, between Hybe, and they got inspired by BTS. And the BTS members are the advertisement promotional figures there as well. And apparently they're flying off the shelves. That's great, right? Everything BTS touches is gold. Yeah. Hello, Gloria. Hello. And good afternoon. Finally watching the live. Yep. And let's see. I believe it. It's expensive but worth it. It's about bringing joy. It may be football for men. It's the music and message and dancing for women and men too. Yes, please include me, right? Okay. So yeah, I just started off with some fun and informative news. There you go. Just go to your friends and family and say that BTS is definitely feeding our community. It's definitely making it more lively, more healthy, and just flowing it with money, right? So that's great. Okay, so on to the next news. So we move on to a little bit more darker news over here. I need to prepare for this one. You guys need to get prepared for this one. Yep. So before we go on, don't forget to like and subscribe. But over the past few months, you might have heard a lot of Koreans complaining about their national football team in regards to the coach Hong Myung-bo and the head of the KFA, the Korean Football Association, Chung Mong-gyu, and all that kind of stuff, and how it's corrupt, how we need to eradicate that, how we need to have like a national hearing, and it's all going through the procedure, the political scene, and also the president has stepped up and ordered a actual in-depth investigation. The office of the Korean Football Association has been raided. So yeah, they're actually doing a full-scale investigation at the moment. And during that process, bits and bits of information are getting leaked to the public. And apparently, oh, this was very shocking. So there's a lot of things that we have to unfold, but like it's very football centric. But one of the most shocking things that came out over the week was this news. So if you look over here, it's a massive scandal, and the KFA right now is facing intense global backlash from a lot of different countries. It's not just internal anymore. This just made it into a different level because there were revelations that surfaced about officials systematically providing sex services to foreign match referees in the early 2010s. You heard it right. Reportedly, the Korean Football Association provided sex services to the referees that were, in, I guess, like the games related to Korea or like when we were hosting global events and whatnot, right? So you can see over here, Anma means massage, and according to a leaked 2016 Ministry of Culture, Sports, and Tourism audit report recently brought to light, the KFA staff used corporate credit cards to entertain over 10 foreign referees and match inspectors at adult entertainment venues and massage parlors between March 2011 and March 2012. I love this comment coming from Toyland. What? Soccer with balls? And SYJ says, wow, right? Oh my, this is very, very shocking. Josh Harry, thank you for the YouTube gift. John, cheers to you as well, too. But yeah, like, now you get why people were furious, right? Like people were saying like what are Koreans throwing a tantrum for? It's just a football game. It's just a ball game. Like, they're always so harsh on their own country. And whenever the Koreans fought back about those criticism about us being too harsh. Like, oh, you don't understand. Like, this has been a decade long problem about like corruption, and there's a lot of things going underground that we have to unravel through a full-on investigation. We made it happen, and look what's coming out now. Like, what look what we're digging up. And the sad fact is, apparently, because it's more than a decade ago, there isn't any legal ground to actually punish this. And they are trying to be held accountable through like the public lens and like public scrutiny, but other than that, legally there's no actual way to deal with this. And like the people of Korea and the audit members have sent this and reported this to the International Association, FIFA themselves. And FIFA would normally give some kind of, I guess, judgment towards this kind of behavior and either, ban the association from doing more activities or something like that. But yeah, it's a question over here because like since there is no actual legal grounds to punishment because of uh the the date itself, it winds back all the way to 2010, right? 2011, 12. How are we gonna set legal grounds for that? So yeah, it's a very frustrating situation. Moving on over here, yeah, again about like the sex services provided. During this period, it covered seven major international fixtures, including crucial 2014 Brazil World Cup and 2012 London Olympics qualifiers. And the matches were where South Korea notably remained undefeated. So something's very fishy over here, you might say. International outlets, including the UK, French, Japanese media, have picked up on this story. It's very embarrassing, and they've pointed out potential FIFA code violations and questioning match integrity. So it's spreading like a wildfire among the global community. And what's even worse is that the Japanese press even dug up the actual names of the Japanese referees that were involved and that received the services from the KFA. And they've actually the Japanese aren't playing with you guys. They've actually revealed like the identities, the names, and the faces of these people. And these people are getting like hammered by the public in Japan right now. So, in response to the public outrage, the KFA issued a formal apology claiming these dark practices were completely eradicated in 2013 when current leadership introduced a strict clean card compliance protocol. However, major political parties and sports ethicists are demanding a complete overhaul, calling it an international embarrassment, which I agree on. Yes. And welcome Lynn saying sports are corrupt. They always have been. Yes, there's always been, well, I mean, there've always been allegations and actual sightings of like sports gambling and rigging and blah, blah, blah. But this is another level. Providing sex services to referees, like, this is another level of embarrassment we're talking about over here. And again, I'm telling you, like the whole audit, the whole hearing is going on, and we've been interrogating, investigating all these coaches about like where they used their corporate cards, like how they interviewed the head coach and how they selected him, why other coaches got snubbed, blah, blah, blah. All these actual administrative things. But then in the process of this, like these kind of gruesome results are just like popping up here and there. So it's really really shocking and shameful. And yeah, I think it's absolutely just horrifying and humiliating on an international scale. And for years, Korean football fans have voiced deep frustration with the administrative opacity at the KFA. But like this just took it to another level. And like football critics and the fans are all like protesting online right now that we need to hit them even harder at this point. Since these kind of things are just embarrassing our whole country, and attempting to just like shrug this off as like, oh, it's like it stopped in the 2013s and it was a past custom, or claiming that the documents were like destroyed and they're old, is an actual insult to the athletes and the sport, in my opinion, who actually put in sincere effort in trying to do their best to, improve the scene. And yeah, like when these foreign outlets like the Japanese media or the Guardian are running these headlines about like Korea's integrity and questioning whether the past World Cup qualifying matches were like rigged or not, it just destroys the credibility of the entire nation's sports ecosystem, right? So it's very, very embarrassing and very stressful to actually look at this happening. And I really hope that our government or whoever is in charge just goes down to the deep root of this and eradicates every single problem. We need to actually flip it 180 and yeah, upside down, and just like shake the whole branches and the roots of the whole KFA in order to eradicate these problems. Yeah. Um, Getting down to business in Korea. Yeah, I mean, I guess like you could say if it is a custom, like there was a lot of like business being done in the 1990s up to the 2000s, where I'm pretty sure there still is, right? Where you do corporate meetings and you take these executives or high people to these these massage parlors or room salons where they say like, they provide you massages, or they're just like, people that sing with you. And of course there is invisible sex services provided there, and these kind of things have been uh they've existed and people knew the existence of it, but in the name of business it just got a pass. But like for official associations like the Korean Football Association to actually do that, and in the game of sports where it's supposed to be fair, like providing this kind of stuff to the referees is just the lowest of the lowest behavior, I would say, right? Um, it's not a happy ending, and I know what you're talking about, but no, Le Massage. Exactly. I'm not that shocked by the sex aspect at all, really. Yeah, I'm sure it's happening here in the US and just haven't got caught yet. Well, at least they're competitive, competent in hiding it. It's not a good look, but it's not a surprise. Just so frustrating when there are so many issues going on with the country. I know, right? Mhm. It's very frustrating, but I guess that's the least of our problems because we have the most important controversy going on every single summer. It's a recurring subject, and people get riled up about this topic. I'm ready to hear about your own opinions about this. Well, if you look at this provocative picture I've prepared over here, and look at these women just covering their faces and making these face palms. Oh, our favorite topic. So summer in Seoul is bringing heat wave conditions. It's absolutely horrible over here. I'm pretty sure it's the same universally right now all over the globe. And this raging debate over public dress codes is just repetitively happening. And along the Han River, which is our favorite place to bike and run, an increasing number of male runners and cyclists are ditching their shirts. They're going topless to cope with the extreme temperatures. I mean, what are you going to do? There's no air conditioning outside, and the most you can do is take off their shirts, right? And I don't know if it actually would help because I think you get like very sunburned, but like a lot of people like to do this, and I guess like, like you get hit by the breeze directly, and it just like makes your sweat evaporate quickly. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a runner. I don't know this feeling, but this happens very often nowadays, especially in this kind of weather. So yeah, there's always been a debate on whether, yeah, these people are just like super hot and not like sexy hot, but like actually hot, and they have the right to take off their shirt. It's not actually giving any kind of damage or harm to other people. Whereas some people argue that it's like a public nuisance, and like, yeah, it's uncomfortable and it's not appropriate in public. There's a lot of divided opinions on this. And the trigger for this summer was created by this one YouTuber and this one scene. So this YouTube channel called Drone Rider released a footage of a man biking across urban bridges in Seoul wearing no shirt, but also only in underwear. Like, it was very short underwear. And it was dubbed by netizens as the infamous Panty Rider. So we call like our underwear shorts down there panties in Korea, right? A lot of people laugh about it. So we call him the Panty Rider. And while the underwear cyclist sparked widespread disgust, the broader trend of shirtless running has divided the nation. Like, this was the trigger of it, and people had this repetitive debate again. And actually, to your surprise, the Seoul Metropolitan Government confirmed that running shirtless does not violate current legal statutes ever since 2016, when the Constitutional Court ruling narrowed the definition of indecent exposure to actual exposure of intimate body parts. So unless you're flashing your dick or boobs or whatever, it's okay, apparently, according to the law. And I feel like that's a very rational and reasonable constitutional court ruling, right? Like, I'm on the side of like, take off your shirt or whatever, wear very short pants, and as long as you're not like harming anybody, like, it might be a little bit of a discomfort to some people, but at the end of the day, like, it's just like someone that's shirtless. Like, it's the same as going to a swimming pool and seeing someone there, right? And people might argue, well, Han River isn't a swimming pool. Technically, nowadays it is, but yeah, you know what we're talking about, the running paths and all. Like, I don't, it's kind of cringe. We don't want to see that. Like, Korean people are very lookish as well too. So as long, like, even for people that have shredded bodies, a lot of people are uncomfortable about it. I think it's coming from two different bodies of people. So, the jealous type, which is like, oh, like, he's trying to show off because he's shredded, and also the grossed out people, like throwing hate to people that don't have good bodies, saying like, oh, you don't even have a good body, it's disgusting to see like your beer belly flap whenever you're running and all. I don't want to see that, right? So it's coming from different audiences, but with a united hate towards these shirtless runners. And local authorities are putting up these warning signs over here, actual warning signs, and broadcasting etiquette reminders due to a flood of complaints from families and citizens who find this exposed skin, like, and also a part of it is a complaint about tattoos, because if someone is shirtless and they have a tattoo, in Korean culture, tattoos are seen as like kind of hostile behavior towards others. And yeah, like, sweat and all that, it's very uncomfortable in shared public venues. So there actually have been a lot of complaints. And if you look at this signboard over here, it says rules for running crews. Number one, it says going shirtless, no. Like laughing out loud, yelling out loud, or clapping out loud, no. Running in groups, like excessively big groups, no. Saying, like, yelling, get out of the way, no. So these are some guidelines that the local government put out, and they actually made this and they installed it in Han River, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. And I think, I think Korea is just experiencing this
I'm a fan
classic
of
cultural
shirtless
clash
bodies.
between
Sit
traditional
yeah.
collective etiquette, like the nunchi culture and everything, and individual expression. It isn't even individual expression. I think it's just like, I'm hot. I just want to take off my shirt. It isn't harming anybody, right? Versus like people that are like, oh, there's a thing called TPO and you should be this and that in certain places, right? I mean, again, about like that panty rider guy, I think he leveled it up to another he upped a notch. And I think that was a little inappropriate, especially for cyclists, like certain parts are highlighted. Yeah, like I wouldn't want to look at his crotch area or his butt if he was in front of me, if he's coming my way or going the other way. Either way, like I would, yeah, I would. I mean, it doesn't harm me, and I'd be just like, oh, that's kind of inappropriate. But yeah, that would be it. I wouldn't file like a actual complaint or anything. I understand the sentiment though, but I think it's just dumb because like yeah, like it's 38 degrees Celsius right now and there's a heat wave going on and maybe these people might not should not be running in Han River in the first place in this kind of weather. Yeah, that maybe is dumb behavior. There are indoor places where you can use running machines and treadmills, right? But yeah, like I think mostly in Western countries where I've visited, in New York City, I've seen a lot of people that go shirtless. In Australia, in London, I've seen a lot of people that were shirtless when they were running. And I think it's completely normal exercise attire where in Korea, like public spaces are viewed as like, shared living rooms and modesty should be respected for others. So. Yeah, I don't think we need like legal fines or anything for running shirtless, but yeah, I guess like if you're in Korea and if you want to run in the sun outside, just be careful. Yeah, you might get reported. Right. So, yeah, let's read some comments before we go on. I honestly think this is a hilarious debate. In East Asia, tattoos are still looked down upon. In Japan, you can't enter a public bath with tattoos on. That is true. I thought tattoos were getting more accepted now. They are indeed, but there's still a very big stigma upon them. And people would prefer not to associate with people that have like huge tattoos, right? Like we're not talking about like a little butterfly or a little lettering on your wrist or like this place. We're talking about like sleeves with dragons and tigers and like onis, like these demons and stuff, right? Um, yeah, and Aaron, I'm a fan of young shirtless bodies, says Chungia. Okay, Aaron, I wonder where you were at, and here you are again, being very consistent. Beer belly flap. Yeah, if I run topless, it's a public nuisance and get arrested, but if Chaonu does it, it's okay. Yeah, that's pretty much the sentiment here. People would actually follow him while he's running. If someone is bricked up while running, then they need to handle that for themselves. If men swim shirtless, then running isn't a big deal. I totally agree. I totally agree. It's a little sexist, really, as someone who walks everywhere. Am I allowed the same relief from the heat? Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be against like women, freeing their important parts or whatever. Yeah, but I think a lot of people, like the majority of people, especially in Korea, would create a scene about it. I'm all for freeing the titties. Yeah, I'm all for no bras or whatever. Yeah. Running shirtless is fun, especially when it's hot outside. Yep. Okay, so yep, moving on. Actually, before we move on to our next story, this was our last episode from last week. We talked about the BTS Grammys, right? So if you want to check it out, please do. And if you find our show entertaining and helpful, please drop a like and subscribe right now. It only takes a second and helps the channel grow and attracts more people to the live stream. The more the merrier, right? And don't forget to turn your notification bells on and push alarms get sent to your device so that you don't miss our live streams. And surprisingly enough, if you look at the analytics, more than 69% of people aren't subscribed to this channel and they're just ghost watching the live streams, which is, I don't know why. Like, you would revisit every single time and not subscribe, right? So, yes, please subscribe. And speaking more about the heat over here, oh, look at this intense picture. So, as South Korea is enduring a record-breaking summer heat with daytime temperatures pushing nearly 40 degrees Celsius, one person stepped up as a national hero. Not all superheroes have to wear capes, right? A 23-year-old Seoul National University student, very smart guy, has become an overnight national hero. Here's why. His name is Yu, and he double majored in math education and venture management, and he launched an app called Kunwro, which roughly translates into the shade, right? Kunwro is shade. And it's a brilliant app, I think, because it uses OpenStreetMap data, government building heights, street tree data, like the actual trees that are planted, and real-time sun positioning to calculate the exact shadows cast across city streets. He's a genius, I would say. Nobody thought of this before. And when users input a destination point where I want to go, for instance, I'm in the Mapo area and I want to go walk all the way to Hongdae, Kunwro, this app, it doesn't just show the fastest route. That's done already by Kakao Map or Naver Map, right? It ups that tech and it highlights the shadiest route. Now, I'm not talking about like shady as in like it reroutes you to like alleyways and stuff. Literally the shadiest route where you can avoid the sun, and it completes the estimated walk time and the exact percentage with the shade coverage. And it even advises commuters on which side of a subway train or which specific seats on a bus will avoid direct sunlight based on the time and where the sun is at and travel orientation and all that. So this is a brilliant tech. It's some might say it's like very it's like a very tiny scale of detail, a very subtle kind of technology, but so many people are using it in very useful manners. And the app actually recently shot up to #1 on Apple's free navigation chart in Korea. They're surpassing giants like Kakao Map, Naver Map, Google Map. So it's the #1 app downloaded in the map category at the moment. So you can see how popular it is. And it's especially great. As you can see over here, it says Kunwro, but also 두벅의 여름길. So the subtitle over there is called The Summer Path for Walkers. 두벅이 means walker. And it's not like a derogatory term, but it's like a self-derogatory term from people that don't own cars or can't afford taxis, that have to take public transportation or walk around all the place. And yeah, 두벅이s, like high school students or university students that are low on money, or just like daily commuters that can't afford, gas prices or parking fees. It's a very, very useful app for these people, right? No wonder it's #1 in the App Store right now. And Aaron, thank you for the $2. Can it show a route with the most schools? Oh no. Okay, that is not an appropriate red card. No, yellow card over there. Changia, no, Changia would not say that kind of stuff. Stop making this guy look so bad, okay? Funny and smart at the same. I'm sure you're referring about the app, not Aaron's like super chat over there. Lynn, wow, brilliant. And uh, let's see. Smart. Easier isn't always easy. Yeah, so for instance, if you go in the app, I've seen some like actual, what do you call it? Operations of the app, use cases, and it shows you like a 3D map. So if you put a destination point on, it actually makes like this 3D map where you can see the height of all the buildings and the angle of the shadows and whether you're going to be in that shadow or not. So it is very detailed. So it shows you like, oh, if you're on the other side of the street, you'll get hit by the sun rays. So come across the street and you'll be safe from the sun. Or it could show you like routes where you could go underground, where there's like underground connections, or you could go through buildings and stuff like that. So it's a very genius invention, I would say. And I feel like, there should be a lot of apps like this in other countries as well. I think he could probably, sell this idea or develop it for other countries too. So very smart guy, and I think this is an absolute necessity. It's one of the most practical apps I've seen in the recent times, and I'm really willing to download it. But as an introvert and as an antisocial person, who doesn't go out of my house that much. If I go out, it's going to be in the radius of my own neighborhood, just going to a restaurant to buy like a chicken mayo or go to the gym yesterday, walking my dog during the night mostly, because like nowadays, just going outside in this sun during daylight is crazy, right? So, yeah. But if I were to go to Gangnam or anywhere, I would definitely download this app and actually give it a try. I think it's fun. It would feel like you're in a game or like you're doing a quest or something, right? Like to avoid the sun. If you get hit by it, there's like radiation, and act like that. So yeah, it's amazing the fact that it beat the tech giant apps like Naver and Kakao. So yeah, it's like the most legendary student flex you could have. I think he's going to be picked up. This portfolio itself is going to elevate him to like a god tier status in like a lot of startups or these big tech companies. The idea itself and the fact that he could make this is just like goated, right? It's a hyper localized problem being solved, and everything about business is problem identifying the problem and then solving it. So yeah. Thank you, Josh Harry, for the MVP YouTube gift. Thank you so much. And yeah, so if you're in Korea, if you want to try this out, yeah, like download Kunwro. It's gonna be fun, right? Sell it to Samsung. Yeah, I think some companies like Samsung might buy it and attach it to their native apps or their native functions. Yeah, and I think if I were him, when there's like this national attention upon it, I would be really swift to pitch it to a lot of these big companies and get a price and yeah, make that bad, right? Mm. So, on to the next news. South Korean law enforcement is cracking down hard on illegal narcotics and controlled substances, targeting everything from popular imported groceries to illegal home brewing. And Mapo Police Station in Seoul recently blocked resale transactions for Trader Joe's famous everything but the bagel sesame seasoning on secondhand platforms like Carrot. Apparently, there is narcotic substances inside this bagel sesame seasoning blend. So be careful, guys. This is how it looks like on the secondhand market. The only reason this is being sold on the secondhand market is the same reason I want to get my American version of Cheetos whenever I go to the US because they don't exist here. If they do exist, like they're super overpriced. The prices are jacked up to like 5x or something. So people hoard certain items from the US that are popular and they come into Korea and sell it on the secondhand market. But this got banned now because it got tested by the National Forensic Service, confirming that the product containing poppy seeds, testing positive for morphine and codeine, controlled substances under Korea's Narcotics Control Act, making both selling and buying it subject to criminal charges. Imagine you contact this random person in your neighborhood through Carrot Market, and you just wanted to have a good bagel, and you just wanted to sprinkle sesame seasoning. You don't have the privilege to go to the States, and everyone's hyping up Trader Joe's with their Echo bags and tote bags. And now they say like, oh, they have this great, seasoning for bagels, and you buy it, and you get caught by the police under charges of buying drugs and narcotics. Yeah, so it's kind of funny. The US bagels have narcotics. Well, not surprising, quite honestly. Time to riot. You can't take away Trader Joe's, right? This is so funny. Well, beware, because apparently there are poppy seeds inside this. Oh, yes, you'll fail a drug test from poppy seeds. Poppy seeds will give you the effects, but it's not a drug. No poppy seed bagels in South Korea? Nope, no. Apparently, no. Yeah. Um, David needs a friend in the U.S. military. They can hit up the PX for you. Yeah. I really need a U.S. friend. Um, it's because of the poppy seeds. Yes. It's so funny. It's like hilarious news over here, but flipping more to a serious side over here. Simultaneously, recently, the Korea Coast Guard wrapped up a massive 4-month crackdown on illegal poppy and cannabis cultivation in rural and coastal areas, apprehending 249 offenders. So it's a real threat. It's actually being cultivated. And authorities seized nearly 30,000 poppy plants, including a notable case in Gangwon province where a resident in his 60s was caught growing hundreds of poppies in his garden to craft traditional poppy-infused moonshine liquor. It's called damgumju. It's a type of alcohol. And officials warn that whether it's an imported seasoning blend or whether it's a traditional home-brewed liquor, strict zero-tolerance drug laws apply. So, yeah, be careful. Don't accidentally grow poppies in your garden and get caught, right? Yeah, like it's an illegal substance. It's a narcotic in Korean categories. So yeah, this double crackdown really highlights how unforgiving South Korea's narcotics laws are, regardless of the intent. And on one hand, you have travelers casually bringing back everything bagel seasoning from the U.S., completely unaware that you know poppy seeds might get you a full police investigation. And on the other hand, you have rural seniors sticking to like old school folk traditions, illegally brewing poppy liquor in their backyards, thinking it's like harmless home remedy medicine. But you got to be careful with Korea. And this is actually a picture of the police investigation, and you can see the Trader Joe's products over there. And these are all, commercialized shelf products you can get. And they all have these illegal substances. So you got to be very careful. Korea makes zero distinction between intentional drug offenses and accidental possession of prohibited substances. That's why a lot of people are wary about traveling to Thailand nowadays, because apparently there's been this massive news alerting travelers that go to Thailand because they put in this kind of substance in their local food, which is similar or just weed itself. And apparently, if that goes into your body and you get a random check at the airport or the customs or whatever, and you have that substance, you will be charged of illegal drug use. So, yeah. Um, Double check every item you're bringing in, whether they have poppy seeds or cannabis in it. So, yeah, it's gonna keep you out of trouble when you're coming to Korea. Okay. So, well, we got another super chat here. Thank you so much to Melody for David's Cheetos fun. Yes, I'll buy myself a bag of Cheetos and I'll enjoy it, although I'm on a diet. And is cannabis and poppies a native wild plant in Korea? Yes, it is, because from the old days, we have historic records of our ancestors actually cultivating them and using them. Yeah. Um, the Europeans were taking home ranch dressing from the USA after they were here for the World Cup. Yes. I guess like a lot of Koreans go there and hoard like for my case, the Cheetos, and we go for like specific sauces. In my case, I love to grab some bottles of gravy. What else do I get? There are certain things that my mom always wants, like Advil or what is it? Those kind of nutrient supplements or these kind of medicines that you can go get in U.S. drugstores that are not very accessible over here, like Centrum Women vitamins or whatever, these kind of things. Yeah. So, hmm my ex-husband was in the military for 30 years. He had to be very careful not to eat poppy seeds when he was about to deploy. Yeah. So it's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's taken seriously. Yep. So be careful, guys. And okay, so we only have 2 news remaining for today. But if you like more news and content during the week, please sign up as a free Patreon member to get access to my free newsletters and podcasts. You literally just have to click sign up with Google, WhatsApp, your number, and you're all set on Patreon. It literally takes 10 seconds and it really keeps the channel going as well. And you get access and notifications to my most recent Patreon after shows. So yes, please do check out Patreon. And if you've been enjoying the live stream so far, any direct donations via Buy Me a Coffee or PayPal will be very appreciated. And the QR code is over here, easy for you to scan for those of you who are watching this on your couch. And yes, here's my PayPal account over here. It's KPC Media. Don't get startled. Yeah, there you go. And on to today's last news. We got some heartwarming news, especially for the women out there. So South Korea is witnessing a dramatic cultural shift in marital demographics. According to recent data from the Ministry of Data and Statistics, a record-breaking 20.2% of all first-time marriages last year involved an older bride and a younger groom. Wow. This marks the first time in Korean history that the figure has crossed the 20% milestone. And I have to say, it's an intriguing statistic. I've never seen this in numbers, but it's a very, it's not like a normal kind of dynamic or relationship you will see in Korea. I think maybe it might be universal among a lot of different regions across the globe, but in places like Asia, especially, like usually the man is older than the bride, the woman. We call it 연상, 연하, and the fact that we have a term for that, a dedicated term for that, and there's always jokes about it, or there's always like the following response with it when you call like when you're a woman and you go to like a gathering or something, you're with your friends and you introduce your boyfriend, they ask about it and you say like, oh, he's a 연하남, he's like a younger guy than me, like, and he's like 3 years old, for instance. Everyone will say like they'll be either shook, like shocked, or they'll be like giggling, or they'll be like, "Oh, how'd you score that?" And there'd be these type of things. And for guys, if you're with an older woman, people will have like similar reactions, but they'll ask you like, "Oh, 누나가 잘해줘? Like, is your Nuna like good to you? Like, does she buy the meals for you? Does she lead the relationship?" So there'll be like specific dynamics and responses going on if the woman is older. I don't know how it is in different cultures. Aaron again. I'm frightened to actually read your messages now. Miss me with that older bride stuff, Changia. Okay, this one was, yeah, I'll give it a pass. Thank you. Yep, and Nuna lovers are always appreciated. I think that's going to change. I think millennials and Gen Z are more open to older women, younger man. I totally agree. I would love an older Nuna. Nuna, please take care of me. You know. I would want a Nuna to take care of me, right? And Nunas are hot. Nunas know how to lead. They got a lot of experience. So sociologists and matchmaking experts point to several driving forces and reasonings behind this. The first one would obviously be women are marrying later in life while they're prioritizing their career establishing, and it's leading many in their mid 30s to look beyond traditional age barriers. I know a lot of cases around me as well. I know a lot of married couples, and yeah, in fact, a lot of these women prioritize their careers, and yeah, they like to stay single until like they reach a certain level within the company ladder, and when once they feel like they've been more established, they go back into the dating pool and look more seriously for a marriage partner, and then like they snatch a younger guy, and it happens, right? So that's one reason over there. But furthermore, traditional patriarchal norms where men were expected to be older, higher earners, and the head of the household are now dissolving in favor of lifestyle compatibility, shared values, dual income potential. I think that's very important. Like in this economy, it's very hard to survive as like a single bread earner, as like the patriarchal figure, the protector of the family. It's hard to really provide as a single earner. So, yeah, because of all these reasons, this is happening. This new trend is happening. I love it. And it's even happening more and more because high profile celebrity marriages, such as figure skating queen Kim Yuna over here, the queen herself, got married to a younger guy. I think he's like a theatrical actor or something. And there's other actors like Chang Nara. She's like the queen of like K dramas in China. There's also this beautiful couple over here that recently got married, Shin Mina. She's older than Kim Woo Bin, apparently. She doesn't look like that, but yeah, Shin Mina, she married a younger partner, and all of these kind of celebrity marriages that have this kind of relationship are also normalizing these dynamics in mainstream media. More representation in a nutshell, I guess, right? So, oh my gosh, beautiful wedding picture over there. And then on top of that, we're having more like media content tapping into this field. So we recently had this dating reality show called 누난 내게 여자야. It says 연상 연하 dating reality. The title itself means Nuna, you're a woman to me. Yeah, you're. It's a romantic term. And look at the bouquet he has in the back of his hand, and going on a date with the Nuna. And this is Han Yejin. She's a model. She's single, and I think she's in her 40s now, maybe. She dated like Chon Hyun-moo, which was like a top news anchor, but like she's a panel of this show, and apparently it was for dramatic effect. But if you see the caption over here, what she said about it is, it says, "This is a crazy program. Whoever thought of this idea is crazy." So even people like her, like their direct response is like, "This is crazy." Right? We have a dedicated show for this concept, and I think all in all, it's a healthy shift. It's a huge step for Korean society. And for decades, like there were strict social hierarchical, structures where men were also feeling the pressure to marry younger women, so they could maintain the traditional head of the household dynamic, while women felt the pressure to find older, financially established men. But now the times have changed, and people care way more about emotional connection. In Korea, I guess shared financial goals would be prioritized over that, to be real. And whether you actually get along day to day, all these kind of things. And as like these age-based social stigmas are breaking down, marriage options are naturally widening for everyone. So I think it's a very great change, and it shows that Korea's rigid social scripts are now becoming far more flexible, which is a great sign for younger generation navigating modern relationships and for our birth rate and the future of our country. Healthy relationships with people that you actually love, and that age barrier is all demolished. I was actually talking to some people yesterday, and we were talking about like IVFs and like actually getting pregnant in a natural manner. Yeah, these were all married couples. I actually went to like a wedding invitation the other day from my group of friends that I met in the Singapore exchange, and it's been 10 years, and everyone except myself got married, and a lot of them are attempting to get like pregnant and like get a child and stuff. Apparently it's very difficult, and it was a whole new world to me because like I'm so detached from that. Like I'm not in that life phase yet, and these people are all talking about how difficult it is and how painful it is every time. And apparently there's this kind of tech that I didn't even know about, and it's very widespread and common. I only thought you could freeze eggs, and yeah, you could go to like one of those like the banks or something, and you can preserve your eggs when you're in like a younger age, when they're more, I guess, like stronger. So that's what usually people do, but apparently there's a method where you can actually, what do you call it? 수정하다 in English. 수정. Um, 영어로. What do you call that? Uh, 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 yeah, I don't know what it's called in English, but you know where the sperm and the egg meets and they fuse, something like that. I'm trying to think of the word, but actually apparently you can freeze it in that state. So yeah, like you can actually choose the time of when you want to have a baby. That was mind blowing to me. Like I've never heard of that. Freeze embryos. Embryo, yes. I didn't know about that. So a lot of people like to be planned, and while they want children, a lot of people might disagree on the timing of it because of economic reasons or whatever social reasons. They're in a very busy state right now, and they don't have the luxury to, raise a child. So they fertilized eggs, conception, yeah. Anyways, embryo, yeah, whatever it is in English, they freeze them in that state, and they can defreeze it at their desired time. And I was like, wow, that's actually possible. This sounds like a sci-fi movie. Like we're already there. So yeah. Apparently, according to Sarah, there are tens of thousands of embryos frozen in the US. You can adopt an embryo. It's called snowflake adoption.
This is a very
Really
good change.
interesting. Yeah, it was
Compatibility
just
is more
mind blowing.
important than age
hmm
or anything.
This is a very good change, says Joss Arier. Compatibility is more important than age or anything. Yes, agreed, agreed. Yeah, so it's great news, guys, right? I brought some happy news for you. Uh, so Korea is changing after all. So I would like myself another Nuna. A Nuna as well too. Any Nunas out there? Yeah. But not stopping here, we have more positive change going on. What's happening is there's a historical turnaround where South Korea's long-standing preference for sons have officially been flipped, And a nationwide survey conducted by Hangul Research titled 2026 Childcare and Perception Study revealed that 62% of respondents believe a family must have at least one daughter. And in stark contrast, only 35% said a family must have at least one son, showing a 1.8x preference favored towards female children. That is unheard of. Like, if you know the older generation of Korea, we even have a word called namasono sasan. It's it's literally just preferring men, like male babies, over females, like sons over daughters. And yeah, like according to this result, fascinatingly, the trend was highest among seniors aged 70 and above, where 73% stated they prefer daughters. Wow. So sociologists jumped onto this debate and they said that older generations historically favored sons because of agricultural labor and carrying on the patrilineal family name, right? Like if you are a daughter, unfortunately, how the customs go through Korea, you lose your family name, right? So we say Truga Wayne. If you go outside of you, like you're a daughter and you get married, you're no longer family anymore. You're an outsider. It's a very harsh term, but it's technically right because like you are given a new family name. It applies to the West, right? Like you become a Mrs. Smith or Mrs. whatever. You follow the male's family name. So that's how it was perceived in the old days. And on top of that, the agricultural labor was a big thing. So you wanted more manpower. That's why males were definitely, preferred. And there was a lot of like Confucianism and like these Eastern philosophies that say like the man is the sky and the woman is the ground and man is the yin and the woman is, no, the man is the yang and the woman is the yin, and when they like mix up, it becomes a harmony and blah blah blah. But men were always seen as, yeah, superior to women in the old days, but now that's flipped. And according to this survey, modern seniors now view daughters as far more supportive, communicative, and reliable for emotional and elder care. And despite this overwhelming cultural preference for daughters, national demographic birth ratios have stayed naturally balanced at 105.8 boys to 100 girls, confirming that selective gender abortion practices of the 1990s are entirely extinct. hmm So yes, there's not like there's a saying. I don't know if this is exactly true, but like my generation right now, there were like selective gender abortion practices. So apparently there is like a huge difference in balance between men and women. That's why a lot of men, statistically and number wise, cannot get like or into a relationship or into marriage. I think that would be like an excuse because there's different generations, but like if you just do like simple plain math, it's not balanced enough. There's like way more men than women. So like competition wise, it would be harder. I've seen an article analyzing something like that. And yeah, like again, like look at this picture over here. Like you're giving all the good food and the good care to the son over here, and he's all chubby and fat. And if you look at the daughter in the back, she wants some food too, but the mom and dad is only taking care of the son, right? Even the doggo has a little bone in his mouth. So if you told someone in Korea back in 1990, or yeah, when the birth ratio was like 116 to 100, and the 70-year olds in 2026 right now would overwhelmingly want daughters instead of sons. These older people, they would have thought you were insane. That this would not be like sane logic. They would not understand why. But yeah, like as a lot of online commenters say, parents realize that sons go off and focus on their own lives, while daughter is actually, call, visit, check up on, the elderly parents. And I think, I don't know if that's how society makes us behave, but biologically, too, if you just look into nature, it's usually the male that just wanders off, like after, just uh, procreating with the female. And the female is the one that usually takes care of the cubs or the offspring. And yeah, there's a sense of like, I guess like more affection and protectiveness and care in the female innately, while the male is just like, wandering off and doing whatever it wants. So I think maybe biologically there is that kind of characteristic within our genes, maybe. But there's also criticism about this. I was like, oh, this is great. But then I did see some very valid comments saying, these were Korean comments, by the way, that it's kind of sad because, you know, like the realization that sons are going off and you will need care when you're older and daughters provide that care for you. The motivation for you to prefer a daughter is not coming out of like a very cute or lovely manner. It's like, oh, you want to look after yourself. So it's in some way like a selfish motive, right? So there were some very salty comments saying like, oh, I think from probably a woman. Oh, now they want us because they want us to take care of them after giving all the love to the sons for decades and decades and centuries. Only now that they realize that they'll grow old and they need care and the sons don't provide that and we're needed, it's very sad and, angering to see that the motive is driven by fear and selfishness. So yeah, I do agree to that, and that was an eye-opening kind of perspective that I didn't see. I was just like on the surface level saying like, oh, this is great change, right? And I do think, like looking at my guy friends that are married. My best friend that has like two daughters. I always talk to him about like, don't you want a son too? Like in the bathtub together, we're in a public bath, and he's like, no, I love my daughters. Like I would, I would not want a son. And I'm like, why not? And he's like, because I just love them. They're just more adorable, and they're just like, you can give more love to them, and I feel more loved as a father as well too. So he feels like this genuine connection, and he feels like he's like, in love with his daughter. Like he's like hearts are coming out from his eyes, and he wants to give the best care to them. Like, give them the best clothes and the cute toys and like spoil them and give her princess treatment. Whereas guys, like he was like, if I had like a dude, if I had like a son, I just like, leave him do whatever he wants. uh, Go let him play in the playground, stuff like that. So yeah, I do think there are both sides of it. Like people genuinely just prefer daughters because they're more adorable, and you want to give princess treatment. Whereas some people are looking more into their future, and there's alternative motives there, right? So yeah. Interesting thoughts this morning. Thank you, David. Thank you, Joy, for tuning in. And oh, that's cute. Yeah, my we call these kind of parents direbabble, like these kind of fathers direbabble. It's like you're 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 a dumb guy for your daughter. You could do anything for your daughter. And some people have children for this reason, so there's someone to look after them in old age. I guess. Um, and yeah, so they prefer girls because they become good caregivers in the future. What the F? That's not gender equality, bro. Yeah, like you hit the nail in the coffin there. Exactly. Yeah. Um, in Korea, some parents would abort babies because it's a girl and not a boy. Yeah, that used to be a common practice in the old days. I know a lot of horror stories, especially from like chaebol companies that wanted to inherit. They wanted to have an heir for the company, and if it was a daughter, she would be misfit for it. So they would intentionally try to get like a boy, right? Historically, patriarchy has dominated for centuries. This is phenomenal news. Yeah, right? So, like, I was thinking, even with this valid criticism, even if the motive is that, result wise, if you just look at the results uh, and the context of history, this is phenomenal, as Teresa is pointing out. And like it or not, it's good change. We're going in the right direction. Not that like female should be preferred or anything. I think it's just leveling the balance, like the tilted balance. And we're now going, as I told you, it was 116 to 100. Now it's 107 to 100. So like we're evening the balance over here, and I think a human being should be loved regardless of his gender. Um, Especially if you're a parent and son or daughter relationship, right? Uh, yeah. So most of my friends don't have a preference and are happy to have a healthy child. Yeah, I think that's healthy mentality. And I actually have a preference towards a son. I'll be honest. I can have a preference, right? It's not that I don't want a daughter. I think if I had a daughter, she'd be adorable and I'd be a darbabo as well too, but I've said this multiple times. As a guy, I know how dangerous the society is for a girl. So if I were to be a dad, I think I would be on alert mode 24/7, and I'd be overprotective and I'd be over concerned about my daughter outside. Like there's so many creepy guys, there's so many potential dangers out there, and I would always be like very nervous whether my daughter doesn't get stalked or this creep is harassing her or she doesn't get sexually harassed or abuse or anything like that. So I know how the society is still very patriarchal and very um, oppressing towards women in general. So yeah, that might be a selfish motive as well too. And I'm it's fear for myself. So I'd rather, if I want, if it's the responsibility I have to carry as a parent in a very selfish motive, I'd be like, oh, I'd rather have just a son and just like, you know, let him do whatever he wants in the playground, whether he fights and does fist fights and gets hurt or whatever. Like sons are a little bit more um, you know, carefree, I would say. So yeah, like I think I would be tiptoeing every single day if I had a daughter, and I think yeah, I couldn't live with that. It would be a very, very big challenge. So yeah, uh, right. So honestly, I have two sons. I'm very happy that I only have boys. Is that me being biased against my own sex? Well, yeah. Wait, you have two sons and you're very happy that you have only boys. Biased against your own sex. Yeah, maybe. You might have the same logic as me, you know? And also as a guy myself too, not only for that reason that I mentioned right now, but like I like to play sports, ball with my son, like play PC games or whatever. It's not that like you can't play with daughters or whatever, but the tendency that a guy is going to like football is higher. So, yep, all those kind of things. Yeah, you can understand my concern, right? Mm. I want daughters. We all have preferences. Yeah, the best thing is to have each of them. Yeah, right? If you have the luxury to have like more than one child. I don't think I would have that, but yeah, I'm struggling here to even survive for myself. I don't know. Yeah. So, Yep. So that was it for today. That was it for today's KPC news. I hope you liked it. Hopefully you got some food for thought. And I think, society is, at least Korean society is correcting in a good direction. Yeah, there might be little details that we need to look into and fix further on. But it's happy news in general, right? Yeah. Moving on, we're going to be going on to the after show on Patreon. Uh, in the pinned comment over there, you will see the link. Oh, the pinned comment has expired, so let me actually give you the link over here again. So there you go. Oops, that's the stream key. So please don't hijack the stream. Yeah, there is a pin comment over there. So please, you can have access to the after show in the pin comment for free. If you're a real-time viewer, unfortunately, if you're watching the replay of this, there will be a paywall of $5. Please support me if you can. Today, this is the list of content we're going to watch together. We're going to skim through a very long content. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. That's my favorite groups over here: BTS, Quartus, and Blackpink. Fun content that's out. So yes, Gloria, thanks for tuning in. Enjoyed your presence today. Great information relayed. Thank you so much. I love those compliments. And just before I go, oh wow, Sarah, thank you so much for the 5 pizzas. Thank you so much for the support, and thank you someone in Dallas for sending me 3 pizzas. Enjoy the lunch. Thank you so much. Oh, I think it's Zen. Thank you, thank you. All right, I will have a good lunch after this. Yes, Katie just caught alive, but I'm just ending it now. So yeah, unfortunately, well, you can join the Patreon after show right after this. So I'm gonna move on over to there right now. The link might need refreshing, so the page might disappear for a split second, but I'm sure if you refresh, the post is going to recreate itself, and you'll be able to join, right? You have to come to Patreon because of copyright issues. I cannot stream on YouTube servers, so we're using an internal Patreon server to stream the copyrighted content, right? So come on over to Patreon. Please consider supporting me. It was fun to hang out with you guys today as well, and I'll see you over there. So, bye bye.